Hey, look who it is. It's me. It's me. It's me. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, folks, to the new nerd in town. This is TV Talk, episode 12, The Phantom Nerd. The Phantom Nerd. Ooh, is it exciting? Are you excited? Because I'm excited. There's a lot of TV to talk about tonight. And there's just a lot of general stuff to talk about tonight. So, beginning with probably one of the more important things in life, which is quite possibly one of the better games to come out this year. And I'm not talking about Fallout 4. No, not at all. I am talking about Star Wars Battlefront. Oh my God. I have to say, I only told myself that I was going to play like maybe a couple hours of it yesterday. I was so excited to play like just a couple hours of it last night. However, I kind of went overboard and played like 4 or 5 hours of it. No joke, no lie. You can't really ask anyone else except for the people that make the great game over at EA and DICE. You guys have encapsulated, encaptured, engulfed what is Star Wars. The game doesn't have a great campaign mode for single player because that's not what they were going for. They weren't trying to go for like the whole play the Star Wars missions on your own. Like, do whatever you need to do. No, they weren't trying to do that. What they were really trying to do was, we're going to give you the maps of some of the most iconic Star Wars battles within films 4, 5, and 6, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And we're going to let you play it. And I think that is so much better, and it's mostly multiplayer. There are a couple of single player things, which is stuff that I usually go for. However, it's not necessarily not with Star Wars. With Star Wars, you're just so immersed in the battles and shooting, and you don't know who to shoot, where to shoot, what to shoot. I got killed by a droid last night. Like a little R2 unit, a little astromech was just right across the screen. I'm getting shot at. I have no idea where it's coming from. Then all of a sudden, when I finally get killed, in the corner where it says where I got killed, it said the droid did it. Now, I'm attacking every single droid I see. Even in Droid Run, where I have to save the droids, I'm killing the droids. So if you haven't already, go pick up Star Wars Battlefront. No, I'm not sponsored by EA. No, I'm not sponsored by DICE. I am not sponsored by anyone. I am sponsored by me, myself, and I. But it all just ties into the excitement that I have for next month. And ladies and gentlemen, today is November 18th, 2015. In exactly 30 days, The Force Awakens officially comes out. That's right, 1 month from tonight, I will not be streaming. Actually, that's not a lie. I will be streaming the Wednesday before on the 16th. However, on the 17th and the 18th, 1 month from today, I will be comfortably sitting in a movie theater in New York watching The Force Awakens, and I cannot wait. Also, December 1st is when the Battle of Jakku map comes out. Can't wait for that to happen because we get to see the battle that happened 29 years prior to The Force Awakens. Not as close to The Force Awakens as you might think, but what they're trying to do, along with the comics and the book that came out prior to The Force Awakens, but after Return of the Jedi, what they're trying to do is they're trying to give you an idea as to what the tone was directly after Episode 6 going into Episode 7. So it's something that we're all excited for. I know I am. I know everybody else is. But we're going to have to hold off that excitement till we get to December 16th because that is when I'm going to do an entire Star Wars episode I don't care. It might be a longer than 2 hour episode, but I will be doing a talk about everything Star Wars, going through all 6 movies prior, any and all the comics or books that I read in between any of the movies and stuff, connecting it all together so that by the time December 18th comes around, you are almost as much of an expert as I claim to be in the Star Wars universe. So anyway, that being said, I will be doing a couple of pickup streams like here and there with Battlefront because it's such an amazing game. The graphics, I'm not a visual type person, but the graphics, they make you feel like you're in Hoth. They make you feel like you're in Tatooine. They make you feel like you're in Sullust, a new kind of a new system in the Star Wars universe that we're going to be introduced in Episode 7. So I can't wait. But let's get into why all of us are here. Let's get into why we come together every Wednesday and Thursday night and Sunday night at 8 p.m. and that's for the TV shows. And the first TV show we're going to talk about, we're going to start as we always do, except for that one time. We're going to start with our Sunday TV shows, and the first one is The Walking Dead. You like how I put my finger under it to try to... The Walking Dead. Now, all right, I've been saying this since I've started the show, that I'm pretty excited. I'm excited that they're doing this to break up the drama of what happened to Glenn. Hashtag hope he's still alive. However, enough is enough. And I think I'm with everybody when saying that. Stop doing the one character like scene. I mean, last week's episode was it was okay. It was a nice filler episode, but this week's episode you should have followed up a little bit more. And and that being said, they did. However, they kind of combined the one character episode and the continuating telling of what's been going on this season so far, all in one fell swoop. If you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, they followed, in Sunday's episode, they followed Daryl, who's like everybody's like second or third, or even maybe first awesome character in The Walking Dead. Daryl is definitely a fan favorite. Norman Reedus is such a cool guy. I've never really met him, but he seems pretty cool. That's all I'm gonna say, is that he seems pretty darn cool. So yeah, we're excited. We're like, yeah, Daryl's here. Yeah. Turns out not as we thought it would be. Daryl does kind of get into a tizzy when for those of you who have not really caught up with The Walking Dead or have been kind of listening to me talk about it all these weeks, Rick, his group, and some of the citizens of Alexandria have discovered a whole bunch of walkers sitting in a quarry. Now, what did they decide to do? Well, they decided that at some point, this quarry is going to get completely filled with walkers, and then the walkers are going to start spreading out. Now, quarries are huge. So as you would expect, there's a lot of walkers in this little area. So the walkers would definitely overrun Alexandria. So we have to, so Rick, in his mind, is we have to get rid of these walkers. So they had a plan to get them out and make them travel. I think it was west was the description. Each person had their own part to play. And this week's episode, in the past 3 or 4 episodes, while we've been seeing all the other characters interact with each other or see some of the big events that have been happening to some of the characters, R.I.P. Glenn, RIP Glenn, we we've only been hearing and kind of seeing like a very small cut scene of what's been going on with Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha. Now, Abraham was having some drinky problems, and he and Sasha were both having kind of these visions of, not grandeur, but visions of, like, martyrism. Maybe not, like, getting the glory of being a martyr, but definitely of the whole, like, dying part, and my life is so useless that I'm going to die in order to save everyone else. But not really because I want to save everyone else, but just because I'm going to find the best opportunity for me to die in helping everyone else to make it look like I'm helping everyone else. At least that's what I'm getting from Abraham and Sasha's behavior. And it's been a little suspicious, but I think they're on the same page now. So, every episode that they've been doing everything in, every episode that they've been doing everything in, you always see the group of Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham leading the horde of walkers away from the quarry and away from Alexandria. And every once in a while, Daryl will radio in to Rick saying, hey, do you need my help? Because Daryl does want to help. Daryl does want to be Rick's right-hand man. Even though he really does not care for the people in Alexandria, he still wants to be just as reliable as he always has been, with Rick and everybody within the group, especially after they met him. So, and Rick's always said up until this point, no, you have to keep the course, you have to keep the course. Even when half the walkers broke off and started going to Alexandria because the wolf attack in Alexandria, it's just been a, Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha just leading the charge away from Alexandria. So tonight, tonight is Arrow and American Horror Story. In Sunday's episode, we see that as they're finishing off their part of the plan, they get to the 20 to 25 miles away from Alexandria, and what they do is they put some asphalt between them and the walkers, so that when they go off and they turn off their cars and their motorcycles, and the motorcycle, the walkers will have nowhere to go but forward. And they will have turned off to the left, they'll wait a while, and then they'll huff it back the 20 or so miles back to Alexandria, walker-free. Sounds like a great plan, right? Until the part where they turn off and get ambushed by... who knows? I originally thought it was the wolves, but it went so fast you couldn't see if they had the W's on their head, as they usually mark themselves with. So, as far as who attacked Abraham, Sasha, and Daryl, IDK? I don't know. But anyway, hopefully we'll find out who that was. Maybe it might have been the same group that I'll be talking about in just a second. But anyway, in that scramble, Daryl gets separated from Sasha and Abraham. So now... two and one are separated from everybody. In the skirmish of everything, Daryl falls off his bike, kind of gets a little road rash. Nothing too serious. It's not the end of Daryl, but whatever. He's going through the woods. Episode. Now it's all pretty much focused on Daryl. And he does what he needs to do. He hides his bike and he tries to find anything. He's a scavenger, so he tries to find anything that he can in order to help him stay alive long enough so he could A, either find Abraham and Sasha, or B, he can find Alexandria and then let Abraham and Sasha know, I'm okay. In doing so, he comes across these two girls, gets bonked in the back of the head by a third traveler, and stumbles upon these three, I call them survivors. He becomes their prisoner, and we find out that they torched the area that he's in, the area of the woods that he's in, killing a lot of people. So... Yikes. Not too sure how I would treat them, but I mean, Daryl was already tied up and compromised before going into all this. So Daryl just does what he needs to do. As they tell themselves that they're going back to this Patrick company, which is a fueling company, and they said they crashed their truck and they set people on fire so that they were to survive a whole bunch of walkers coming to them. They go back to the facility of this Patrick Fueling Company, and they find out that everybody's walkers. There are no survivors. So, at some point, Daryl gets the jump on them, and it's a twist back, gets his crossbow, and discovers, after he runs away, discovers that they were carrying insulin. So at least one of them, or someone part of their survival group, because it might not just be the three of them, might have a diabetes problem. And we discover one of the trio does. The short-haired blonde girl does. When they come back to find him, the group that the trio thought Daryl was a part of, in which they also stole that truck from, the gas truck from, they come looking for everyone, Daryl included, which leads me to believe from the earlier part of the conversation that, from the earlier part of my talk, that this group attacked Abraham and Sasha and Daryl, noticed that Daryl's bike went off the road and started to look for him. Now, this group just sounds like a whole bunch of hicks. A whole bunch of people like Daryl. Like, we're going to do anything to survive. We are Southerners. We're going to protect ourselves with everything we got. We're going to do what we need to do. That's what they kind of sounded like. Kind of, I would almost suspect kind of like how the Duck Dynasty guys would be like if this were to be reality. So in a post-apocalyptic world, yeah, they're funny, they say some stupid stuff, but push comes to shove, when Uncle Si becomes a zombie, they're all pulling out every gun that they have, every chainsaw they have, every axe they have, and they're taking Uncle Si out and the rest of the world with them. And they're not going to trust nobody on nobody. So now Daryl tells the survivors that he's not part of that group. So now the survivors trust him. And they're like, why didn't you say that in the first place? And he goes, I didn't know that you were the people running from them. I mean, it's okay. All right, fine. Stranger in the woods, you knock him out. You don't ask him if they're part of the group of things, and he says no. But I mean, they don't trust him because they don't trust him, but he also doesn't trust them. As they go back, as they continue to look around in the woods, and they try to get away from this other group, these group of attackers, they notice a greenhouse, and I guess it was owned by like childhood friends of the two girls in the group, in the trio, and the girl with diabetes. I mean, I don't know if the insulin didn't get to her head in time, but she goes over to lay flowers on top of the dead bodies because it's two victims from their mass burning of the forest. And of course, they're not completely dead. They break out of the glass, lo and behold, because they're woken up, and attack her. So, in old good fashion, in the old good fashion of Duck Dynasty, she gone, she gone, she gone. So rip that girl. And then as they're burying this girl and the other two people, after Daryl kills them all, because he needs to, because it's awesome. Yeah, he asks them the same questions that he, Carol, Rick would ask anyone that they want to join their group. How many walkers have you killed, and how many people have you killed? Now, walkers, he answered truthfully, multiple people. I killed multiple people. But as far as walkers go, as far as people goes, he said, we haven't killed anyone, because you can't go back to the way you were if you had killed someone earlier. So he's basically saying that if you're a person who went around this earth pre-Walker world, then you killed someone during this whole era, and then for some reason the walkers are finally extinguished and there are no more and people are allowed to go back to their normal lives, you can't say, well, I didn't kill anyone during that time, and you can't really hide the fact that you did. So these guys are trying to be as pure to heart as they can be. That's all nice and fine, but as soon as Daryl gets on his bike to take him back to Alexandria, they double cross him. So they take the bike and prove to Daryl that he can't trust no one anymore, except for maybe like Rick, Carol, and the people that he's been trusting pretty much for the entire series. I'm gonna probably have to go get water. So as all of this was going on with Daryl, Sasha and Abraham, they look for him for a little bit, but then Sasha comes up with the great idea, and she actually says a really great line, that scavengers will always find their prey. So Daryl's considered a scavenger. So if he's looking for Abraham and Sasha, he'll find them. The best thing that they could do is stay still, which, I mean, it's got to be one of the best ideas I've ever heard. And I'm not joking, folks. I'm not joking at all. The reason why I think that's one of the best lines is because every time someone says, oh, let me go out and look for the person that's supposed to be looking for us, things get miscommunicated and people just fall off. Senor Freeze, yo, what's going on, man? How are you? Welcome to the stream. We're talking some Walking Dead. You like the TVs? Yeah, man. There's a lot here. There's a lot of them. Absolutely a lot of them. We're talking Walking Dead. I hope you're a fan, and I hope you saw this week's episode, because I'm going in on it. I already told some pretty important stuff, but I still got a little ways to go. But hope you're a fan. Stick around if you want. So as everything was going on with Daryl and this trio of survivors / the attackers, Abraham and Sasha decided to check out a local town in which they thought was a nice area for Daryl to find, in case he comes looking for him. They find an office building. Turns out it looks like a recruitment center of some sort, or maybe like a military outpost of some sort. Abraham decides to start putting the moves on Sasha, and I got to tell you, for a poke-apocalyptic flirting, guy didn't do a bad job. Not at all. Especially when he decided to let her sleep so he could look around and see if there's anything going on. And in his tiny journey, she I mean, he happens to find a nice little stash of Cubans. It looked like my Spanish is pretty darn rusty. Sorry for that, but looked like he's got some good Cuban cigars and also some good rocket propelled grenades, or commonly known as RPG. I'm looking at you, Battlefield fans. I'm looking at you. Found some great RPGs. Also found a walker who looked like a former soldier of some sort, with the RPG rocket on his shoulder, and was trying to get obviously the RPG off this soldier, but at the same time trying not to get bit. And it's one of those crazy psyche moments. It's just like that time in, I think it was season 5, where Sasha laid down with all the walkers. And that just shows you how damaged Sasha and Abraham both are. With her lying down with the dead walkers that she just killed, and then with him crawling out on a broken chain link fence to go to a walker that's like just stabbed through the shoulder and yelling at it. And I gotta say, both imageries, no matter how screwed up it shows you, no matter how screwed up they look like, I thought it was absolutely well. I shot very well. Here you have two people who kind of want the same thing and who are kind of breaking down in the same way. Although the way they use their emotions is a little, I don't want to say disconcerting. I don't want to say that, but it's just beautiful imagery to show people going down the same road. However, one is doing it quietly and, kind of just waving her arms in the air to try to get attention, but she's doing it quietly. Whereas he's just jumping around all over the place, skipping everywhere, and just, yelling at the top of his lungs, yelling in the face of these walkers. And that is the difference between the two, yet the two are so dark and so, I don't want to say suicidal because they haven't tried to kill themselves, but at the same time, this is kind of their seeking of adventure, and whatnot. And after the walker dies, that Abraham is screaming at and trying to get the RPG off of, he comes back and he has a newfound sense of life. And he tells Sasha about this, and he says, listen, I've got this new light on life. We could start new here. We have a town here. We can scavenge it. We can live the rest of our lives here. Then we can move on. We can, as long as we're together, because he sees their companionship, yet the messed upness of everything. But he knows, and he knows very well, that the two of them are quite the pair. Quite the pair. So that's pretty much the whole Abraham and Sasha storyline. It's that love story that you want to see. Yes, everybody wants to see the return of Glenn and help continue that love story, but also the new budding love of Rick and Jess. But really, it's that wartime love story of Sasha and Abraham, where you have two just messed up people who are going through the same things and same thought process, yet are doing it completely differently, coming together and just sharing that love. And I think that's one of the more beautiful and more like positive stories within the Walking Dead series. Look at me gushing over Abraham and Sasha. But yeah, so after Daryl's betrayed by the trio, or now it's the duo because that one blonde girl is dead. Why? What in what world are two people who have greenhouse like windows and ceiling melted on them. In what world is that a good idea to walk up to them and place flowers on them, thus making noise and waking up their undead bodies? You deserve to die. I don't say this a lot, but you deserve to die at that point. You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. Anyway, Daryl finds their truck that they stashed, steals the truck, and as Sasha predicted, she and Daryl stops in, picks them up, and they head back to Alexandria. Now, as they're on the road in the truck, Daryl's radioing in to Rick, letting him know, hey, the three of us got out of there. We're good to go. It's all set. We're all set. We're all set here. We run into a bit of a problem now because the only thing we hear back and the last audio we hear is one word: help. Now, everybody hears this and just their minds go right to the one person who we just can't believe and never want to believe is dead. And that's... Should I put it? Should I do it? Should I do it? All right. Here comes the spoiler alert. Here comes the spoiler alert. That's Glenn. It's Glenn. Everybody has come to the conclusion that Glenn is dead. There was a lot of I'm gonna say unmute now. There was a lot of telltale kind of signs in the episode last week or 2 weeks ago, in which Maggie wanted to try so hard to believe that Glenn is still alive. And I know the entire world, the entire viewership, maybe not the entire one, but like 85%, we'll say. 85.4%. I'll go a little higher. 85.4% say that Glenn is still alive. And I want to be a believer. I do. But it's just the mechanics of it just don't fit. And I don't know if that was his voice. I mean, yes, it's on a radio, and I'm sure if you heard my voice on a walkie, it would not be the same as my voice you hear now. So I can't put a positive spin on it and say that is definitely Glenn. We will see him in the mid-season finale, which I think is either next Sunday or the Sunday after. It might be, I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, it's coming. It's coming. Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl, did say that it wasn't him. It wasn't Glenn. But he could just be part of this whole thing. Now remember, this isn't the first time that the writers, producers of and the cast members of The Walking Dead did not mess with our minds, especially when it came to Glenn. So don't be surprised if Glenn is actually dead. Like, they go there, they find his body, and that's it. So that's pretty much what we're thinking of in terms of that sense. So that was this week's Walking Dead. Again, you kind of got, it was hey, this is a continuing story of everything that's been going on, but it also had a bit of that one character follow for the episode, which was Daryl's story. because everyone loves a Daryl episode, because there's usually pretty decent amount of action. This time there's more treachery and like mind mending action. But I mean, come on, he did get to fire the crossbow. That's action enough for me. Done, signed, sealed, delivered. Let's go. So that was this week's Walking Dead.